And we're back on the Fowler Show. We're joined by Faye Williams from the National Council of Negro Women. Welcome to the show.
No, we're the National Congress of Black Women.
National Congress of Black Women.
Right.
Negro, I got my Negro and Black mixed up today. Lord
got
Jesus,
Negro and Black mixed up, what's the matter?
I think I'm Negro and Black mixed up as well, so there you have it.
They're a wonderful organization, too. That was the organization of Dr. Dorothy Irene Hyde, who's a good friend.
So tell us about your organization, folks who don't know. That's a great starting point, even though I screwed up.
First of all, we were founded out of politics at the 1984 convention in San Francisco, when Geraldine Ferraro was chosen as the running mate for the vice president. And we had all these wonderful black women like Shirley Chisholm and Barbara Jordan there. They weren't even asked. They weren't even considered. So we were not bothered by the fact that they were not asked, that they were not chosen, but the fact that they were not even considered. And you know how brilliant those two women were. So we decided to form our own organization, and Congresswoman Shirley Chisholm and Dr. C. Dolores Tucker formed an organization called, at that time, the National Political Congress of Black Women. But as the years went by, we knew that we needed to do more than politics. So we took the P out, but we didn't take the politics out. I mean, we still do political things, but we wanted to be able to do more service in our community. So we're now called the National Congress of Black Women.
So tell me something. I mean, Shirley Chisholm, Barbara Jordan, these epic women. And I think if you go back a little bit further, you think about Fannie Lou Hamer.
Yes.
And the history that this convention has. I mean, Fannie Lou Hamer in the 60s wanted to be seated at this same convention.
Absolutely.
Where you now, which is now elected an has nominated and got an African-American president elected. And now, last night, nominated for the first time in American history, a woman to be at the top of the ticket. How does it feel?
But I want to first of all compliment the Democrats for the young women, the young black women who are actually running this show.
Oh, I forgot about that. I was gonna get there. You got to give me some time. Time and space.
I'm really proud of them. But yes, as a woman, I mean, I have to be proud of the fact that Hillary Clinton has been nominated to be our candidate for the presidency. And I want to also throw in that it was Hillary Clinton in the Senate who sponsored a bill so that we could get the first black woman's memorial in the United States Capitol. When she was in the Senate, she sponsored that bill for us, along with Congresswoman Sheila Jackson Lee from Texas over in the House. And we were able to get it passed. And the year that Barack became president, Michelle Obama, our First Lady, was able to come and unveil that statue for us. How good can it get, you know?
Oh, yeah.
First black First Lady to unveil the statue of the first black woman.
So let's get into I mean, I think we've sort of stayed away from it, but let's get into the politics a little bit of this convention.
All right.
So this convention started on Monday with what was a disaster story about the WikiLeaks, right? Where whether here nor there. After that, immediately the party turned to one of the party's top, I would call her top operatives, who's ran this party a number of times as interim chair, Donna Brazile, to take the helm of this party to regain trust of the American people.
Yes.
What does that mean?
Well, it means that, first of all, she's my homegirl. I'm from Louisiana, too, so I'm really proud of her. But I think what it means is that there are a lot of brilliant black women out there standing by, and given the opportunity, they can do anything in the world. And I think the Democratic Party is beginning to recognize that, because we get them over in every election that we're in.
Well, honestly, Ife, it almost seems as though like they call on the black women every time the party's in trouble to clean the mess up.
Yes.
But if they were in charge from the beginning, there wouldn't have been a mess.
Well, you're absolutely right, man. Oh wow, I love you. Yeah, and you know, for as long as we've been making that big difference in the Democratic Party, I too am surprised and disappointed that it took this long for it to happen. But you know what? I'm glad that it finally happened. And I think once again we've shown our own strengths, that we can clean up those messes. But we'd certainly like to be in on some of the good stuff too. And right now, all I hear is we're proud of Donna Brazile, we're proud of Leah Dorfin, we're proud of Regina Thomas, we're proud of all the black women who are helping. Now, I just hope that in November, or before November, we will also be able to reap the benefits that many groups get to get the vote out, because they know, the Democratic Party knows it has to depend upon black women to vote in particular, because we have the highest average for those things that are good for black people and good for women of all kinds. So I think it's time for them to also put some resources over here to help us get more people registered and out to vote.
Now, we're a millennial-driven show here at the Fowler Show. We are watched by millennials. I am a millennial. And so you have the Donna Braziles, you have the Congresswoman Marsha Fudges who are out there, you have the Stephanie Rawlings Blakes, you have, like you said, you have the Regina Thomases. Who is, so we know here, so our show knows who to watch for, and we know who to support. Who is the next tier of leadership in this party?
I think the young women who started Black Lives Matter, they're very important to what we are trying to do. I have young women who work in my office as interns, and by the way, we never turn a young woman down if she wants to come and be an intern and learn from what we do. We have that obligation. So I think all of us in all of our offices and all of our capacities need to be looking for those young people, bringing them in, teaching them what we know, but allowing them to be creative and to show us what they know too.
Awesome. I mean, I couldn't have said it better myself. I think it's so, mentorship is so important. We believe it here. We believe in it here at the Fowler Show. And you know, so obviously Michelle Obama was an awe-inspiring speech.
Yes.
What other speeches inspired you at this convention?
Well, there have been a number of women, certainly the women of the movement, who talked about their sons and their daughters who've been killed by, you know, unfairly, not all by police officers, but certainly some were by police officers and others by community people. They were very inspiring because I think what they showed is that when bad things happen to black women, we don't give up. We go out and we try to make a difference for somebody else's children, even though we couldn't maybe make that difference for our child. And I'm very proud of them for doing that. And should one of them decide that they want to run for public office or they want to run for something in the Democratic Party, I would certainly be there to support them. And that's one of the things we black women are learning, is that we have to support each other and we have to tell each other stories.
And I'd be remiss if you were on the show and we didn't have a conversation about what most likely will be. It's going to shape up. There will be women of color no matter what in the United States Congress, or in the United States Senate, excuse me, come January. But the talk is all about Kamala Harris out of the state of California, who is literally sent shockwaves through their party. What do you think? What's your thoughts on her?
Well, I think Kamala is the first and the most perfect person to be replacing Barbara Boxer. California's always had women in their Senate in recent years. That's all we've known. So I think it's a continuation, but I think the fact that she has a law background will also be helpful to us when it comes to criminal justice and our, putting together legislation so that we can change the culture of the police in some of our communities. I believe she's the perfect person there, and I certainly hope that the Attorney General, Loretta Lynch, will still be there so that they can work together and correct some of the problems that we see in the criminal justice system.
Yeah, and I got to tell you, I think I'm pretty sure she's speaking tonight or speaking tomorrow night. I haven't seen the actual schedule when she will be speaking, but I think you're right. I think she's exactly what she represents, what the Democratic Party is. Immigrant parents, came here, really built herself up. Who else should we be watching for as far as candidates?
Well, let's see. Who? You mean women?
Yes,
for candidates?
black women.
Well, of course, Donna, if she wanted to run, Donna Brazile, I would say that she would make a perfect person to run. There is a woman down in Florida who is running now, I believe, Val Demings.
In Orlando for...
Yes, she has been a police chief, so I think she will bring something to the Congress that we don't have now. I don't think we have a black woman who's been involved in law enforcement, so that would bring something new. And she happens to be a member of my organization, so that's why I can brag about her.
She happens to be a member of her organization. We've got to go. We got to go to break, Ife.
Yes.
But we'll continue this conversation, folks, from the Democratic National Convention. Richard Fowler, we'll be back after this break. Don't go anywhere.